you for joining me. And I'm back because it is Black History Month, and I wanted to talk about some of our heroes. And not the same heroes, some of them will be common, but the first one that I want to talk about is Nat Turner. He was someone who stood up for truth and he learned the truth. He led one of the largest slave rebellions. He stood up for freedom and justice, and he is definitely in the top five of my heroes. I did watch the movie Birth of a Nation, and even though I thought it was tame and it protected certain people like white women and children, and it wasn't really something that depicted reality. It was a bit tame than I believe what really happened. It did give me insight to why the movie was killed, because really when you see that Nat Turner is reading the scriptures from a white point of view, as he has been taught and how he has been told, he finds out that the Bible has nothing to do with the oppressors and more to do with the people being oppressed. And I will leave this article in the description box. It is a full story on Nat Turner's rebellion, and it gives insight into what the movie didn't show, because he didn't have any mercy, not on white women. He definitely killed white men, and white children were involved in that too. And they went from plantation to plantation, really liberating themselves from servitude. And you will have to read through some of the language that is in the article, because whoever wrote this, they look at it as a tragedy and over the top. I mean, all of the horrible things that happen in chattel slavery was not over the top, but this was. Because we all know after the rebellion, after all of the slaves were caught and they were killed, even black people who had nothing to do with the rebellion, and they were killed because of white rage. How could these people want to be free and not made to be our slaves and not killed, raped, and beaten? Was the attitude. They basically killed him. They skinned him, dismembered him, and took his body parts and bones. And this article goes into the sick, twisted, depraved, disgusting act of dismembering black people, skinning them, and taking their skulls, studying it to make themselves feel like they are superior, and looking at us like we're totally different, but in understanding that we are different. They don't understand us. People who think like this, people who are like this, they don't, because we are very different. But it goes into how leather products were made with his skin, and there was a young man, a white male, in a class, and he said that his family member had a purse and it was made of human skin, and they passed this purse down to the males, because you would think that's something that a woman would have, but it was a heirloom. It was something that they proudly passed down to their sons throughout the years, which this young boy, he saw it, he knew about it, and they told them the story about it. So he asked his father if he could bring him to class after hearing about everything that happened, and no, he wouldn't let him take a picture of it. But products that were made of our skin, our skeletons, our skulls, were passed down. They were sold. These skulls and products were souvenirs. They were something that they can remember that moment by. And that is a level of evil and hellishness that can only come from the purest form of hell. I mean, it's the purest form of wickedness and evil. I mean, it's like being confronted with the devil himself. They are trophies to them, and they revel in having this, and they look at it and it's almost like, if you had a ring from your grandmother and there were stories behind it, and you respected it, they like it as if that's what that is. And that's something that I could never understand. It's disgusting. It's rotten. I mean, I don't think you can have a soul and do that. A lot of people like to say animals don't have souls, but if you have a family heirloom of another human being's skin on it, you have no soul. And people think that all of this is over, all of this is in the past. I've even had young black males in my family say, they don't want to hear about it. But I think we need to hear about it because it's still happening. It's just done in a different way. When you have photos of Trayvon Martin and you have photos of Mark Brown, how he just laid in the street. He was just there in the street for everyone to see. How they put Black Death on display. They don't have to share pictures, postcards. They don't have to gather. All they have to do is turn on the TV and enjoy it from the comfort of their home. Nothing has changed. Slavery is practiced in the prison system. People are working on white plantations, which are corporations. Nothing's changed. Just it modernized itself. But I will leave this article in the description box so you can read it if you like. But Nat Turner is definitely one of our greatest heroes. He came to an understanding that a lot of us need to, that we are the chosen people, we are special, and that we do need to continue to fight against this system, and we will get our freedom. And to balance things out, I want to show us in a positive light, even after not being allowed to read, not being allowed to learn, them having a head start. It seems like we are catching up, and catching up fast. We have a lot of brilliance that is hidden, and a lot of people don't want it to come out just how brilliant black people are.
For the 7th year in a row, 100% of urban black classes